Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and you're watching Steelers Talk. And what are we going to be talking about on today's episode? I'm going to be breaking down the top 5 biggest needs for this Steelers team as we are entering the draft because, dude, it's just a few days away realistically. And I'm going to tell you some players that they could potentially tick at number 24, which is exactly where they stand as it is right now. 8 total picks in this year's draft. You got a first rounder, you got a second rounder, that third rounder there. 2 picks in the 4th round if you're looking on screen. Nobody in the 5th round, 6th round pick, and then 2 picks in the 7th round. So what's the biggest need right now for this Pittsburgh team? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say it's an offensive tackle. You lost Alejandro Villanueva, who has been just an absolute staple on that offensive line on the left side. Plus, you got to be able to protect Big Ben. I know Big Ben is almost like an indestructible dude, but he is getting older, and you saw the Steelers struggle because guess what? He started to show the age a little bit. So who are some of the top OTs in this year's draft? Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, I'm sorry, y'all, they're not going to be there at pick 24. Maybe Christian Darrisaw slides there. I'd be pretty surprised, though. Tevin Jenkins, he plays a little bit more of a right tackle, could be an interesting option. Samuel Cosmi as well. But luckily for Pittsburgh, the offensive tackle position is very deep in this year's class, so even if they don't want to take somebody at 24, they could potentially take somebody in round 2. But if Darrisaw or Tevin Jenkins are there at 24, I do think it might be pretty tough for the Steelers to pass on. The second biggest need here, it's, as I kind of mentioned, Big Ben started the show that he was washed up and that he couldn't really throw the football down the field. They'd have a lot of successful receivers on that offense and a halfway decent running back in James Conner, but if anybody's watching the show right now and thinks that Big Ben's the future, you need to wake up a little bit and realize he's not. Now, sure, they also have Dwayne Haskins, but am I going to sit here and tell you I'm confident in Dwayne Haskins? No. Hell no, I'm not going to do that. Could they maybe go out and get one of these top 5 quarterbacks? I'm going to sit here and say no, that's also not likely, just simply because I actually anticipate all 5 of these guys being way gone or much gone probably before pick number 15. It actually wouldn't surprise me if all 5 of these players were taken in the top 10. Let's just say in a crazy world, Pittsburgh falls in love with one of these dudes. I actually think they do. They got to probably trade up into the top 10 to get one of these guys. The third biggest need here for Pittsburgh, it's the running back position. No James Conner as it stands right now, and even let's say they figure out a way to be able to bring him back. He's been a very injury-plagued running back. So the way that this offense works, and I know a lot of people back in Pittsburgh, that's my hometown, or not hometown, home state in Pennsylvania, they want that hard-nosed running team. Like Pittsburgh, you're supposed to be mean, you're supposed to be able to hit people in the mouth, and they're not going to be able to recover. So who are some of the players that they could do that with? Najee Harris is the number 1 running back in this year's class. I know some people will throw out the comparison of Travis Henry. Or Derrick Henry, excuse me. I'm not quite ready to get to that level. He's a very talented back, but if you want a true bell cow, I do think it's between Najee Harris. Travis Etienne is also a very talented back out of Clemson. Javonte Williams actually reminds me a lot of Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. Kenneth Gainwell, a little bit more undersized. Michael Carter had a good Senior Bowl, but in terms of drafting somebody at 24, the only 2 names on here are Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. The quarterback position is next up here as my 4th biggest need for Pittsburgh. You no longer have your cornerback Nelson. He decided to leave because, well, he was looking for something else. So who are some other corners that they could potentially take? Patrick Surtain, he's going to be gone. J.C. Horn, probably also going to be gone. If they want to take a guy like Greg Newsome from Northwestern, I do like his talent, and he's a long and lanky 6'1", 205 pounds. Maybe you could take him at 24. It might be a little bit of a reach. Caleb Farley, if you could promise him he's going to be healthy, I'd actually probably put him at number 1. Unfortunately, the back issues, they do scare me. But if Pittsburgh wants to roll the dice, go for it. And then Asante Samuel Jr., I like him. He's a little bit undersized, but I do think he kind of fills a little bit more of that nickel role. The final need here for the Steelers at number 5, it's the tight end position. One of the things that I really saw that the Steelers team needed to be able to do was at least just have a little bit more of a red zone option, or at least another guy who can move the chains instead of all these different receivers. Yes, you were able to bring back Juju Smith-Schuster on a very good deal, but you still need to be able to add a little bit extra talent there at the tight end position. Kyle Pitts is not going to be there at pick 24, and no disrespect to Pat, Brevin, Tommy Tremble, or Hunter Long, I'm not taking any of those guys at pick 24. Now, if you want to try to take Freiermuth with your second-round pick, okay, I can get on board with that. Brevin Jordan's more of a third-round talent. Tommy Tremble, to me, is more of a third, fourth-round talent, and same with Hunter Long. They're probably more of a fourth-round, fifth-round guy. But there are some interesting options, but there's a major fall off after Kyle Pitts. So as it stands right now, here are the top 5 biggest Steelers draft needs. If you disagree with me, we are an interactive channel here, so please go down in the comments. Let me know if you think that there's a need that I didn't mention or if you would rearrange some of these. So who do y'all think the Steelers are going to take at pick number 24? It's a tough question. And I love being able to talk about the NFL draft just because of how unpredictable it is. And, you can sit here and you're like, all right, they need this guy, they need that guy, this is the player. And then guess what? All it takes is one coach to fall in love with a certain prospect. But the Steelers have done a very good job in recent years in drafting. So, one more time, and then I'm going to head out of here. Comment below who the Steelers are going to draft at pick number 24 in the 2021 NFL Draft.